Daphne Hoffacker.
Hey, y'all, I'm Daphne Hoffacker. First and foremost, I'm a Texas mom. There are a couple things I want to start with. First of all, there's a concerted effort to make sure that we're not talking about vouchers, we're talking about ESAs. But saying that an ESA is not a voucher is like saying, I've got a dog, a voucher is a dog, and an ESA is a German Shepherd. So they are the same thing, and I understand why you don't want to talk about vouchers, because vouchers have a long history that go back to Brown versus Board of Education. They've always been a catalyst for segregation and inequities, and ESAs are just a type of voucher. So I think that that's it. We need to clear that up. Second of all, I hear all this conversation about rights. I mean, the entire session we talked about rights. I have yet to hear anybody talk about responsibilities. Not one of you talk about responsibilities. And the fact is, you have a constitutional responsibility to our public education system. You don't have a constitutional responsibility to our charter schools or to this voucher program. You have a constitutional responsibility to our public schools. And I also, and Representative Allison, if you don't mind holding this sweet boy's hand, I am going to give him a shock of his life. When I hear you talk about government schools, I want to let you know that you're the government. That's you, sweetie. So it is your responsibility to take care of our government schools, Mr. Government. This is not somebody else's responsibility. And when I hear about funding, how could we know how much funding? Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, look around to the rest of the country. There's some indication that we're not doing enough. Secondly, every time I hear a heartbreaking story about a kid who's been bullied out of his school, or a mom who's not getting, whose child died because they were exposed to drugs in our public schools, I can tell you, when we are fully funded, we will not have parents whose kids will be bullied out of the schools. In our public education system, 80% of our funding goes to manpower, and every single dollar you invest goes to more manpower. And you also have a responsibility to know that when you have all of these unfunded mandates and all of these expectations of programming that gives our kids this world-class education that we expect as parents, that takes money, and you are not funding those programs. You are not funding the people that we need in our schools. Our superintendents, the people who are administrating these programs, the money that we're having to spend on special ed, which another gentleman talked about, the money that we're having to spend on this unfunded security mandate, all of that comes out of the money that we could be using to be putting more teachers and aides in our classroom, and that's what we need. So are we fully funded? No. It's your responsibility, actually, to know what a good number is. It's not mine to come up with that. It's you, Mr. Government. It's your job to find out what we need, and you do that by talking to our schools. You do that by understanding where the gaps are. You have a responsibility to public education first and foremost. Okay. So I appreciate all of you. Super frustrating. I hope that you understand that we moms are angry, and I hope, Governor Abbott, you recognize you don't have the votes for this yet, and we have an election in November, and we are angry, and we are not going to vote for the people who that Representative Allison got primaried for. We're not doing it. So I don't think you're going to have the votes. I don't think we should be talking about this. I think we should be talking about funding our public schools. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.